Been on for 2 seconds and it says I've been on for 2.5 minutes. Yep, that's it. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. Now you can hear me. I just realised I forgot to put my headphones in. It's school holiday, so normally I don't always have headphones in. And welcome to our 5 day journey of connecting with your intuition. And this is day 2. So I'd love to hear from you. How did you go with day 1? And in day 1, we went through and we had a meditation. If you go to the guide section of our group, I've put it all in there so it's easy to find than trying to scroll through everything. And also I've put in the description when the meditation is, so if you just wanted to skip to the meditation or redo the meditation, because you can do it a number of times, or as many times as you feel called to. Always listen to your intuition. Yeah, it's there. So, in that meditation, we looked at how does your intuition come through. We talked about the main 4 clairs. I did mention some of the other clairs, but we really mainly focus on the 4 main ones. And the intention of the meditation was to become more aware, or become aware of how your intuition connects to you and comes to you through one of your clairs. So whether it was clairvoyance, so clear seeing, so through vision, or clairaudient through hearing, clairsentient through feeling and sensations, or claircognizant, so through thoughts, so through the mind, so clear thinking. And there's taste, smell, and I'm sure there are some more on that, but they're not as muchly talked about and not as common. But that doesn't mean that you don't get them. It's really about not comparing yourself to other people. It's really about listening to your own inner body, your own intuition, and what comes through for you, and really working more on that and focusing more on what works best for you. So do ensure to watch day 1. We go through talking about them, and I also discuss in there too, if you're wanting to know more about your intuition, when is it your intuition and when is it not your intuition, and how to tell a difference sort of between your intuition versus your sort of inner critic and ego, and that it's not about one or the other. It's a beautiful dance and a weave, and just the real distinctions between the two and how to tell the two. So I know that is quite a common question and or concern for women about how do I know it's my intuition or it's my head, and how do I tell a difference, and all that sort of stuff. So we discussed that in the first video. So today, as day 2, is body and spirit connection, and we're going to be talking about really how our body also plays a part in our intuition as well. And we're not just compartments and all that sort of stuff, and it's not one or the other. We're very multi-dimensional, and we've got very many different aspects to us, and we are all different and unique, and it's our past that really defines us, how we are in the present moment. And over the next few days, we're going to be doing some shadow work and filling out your cauldron on how to stay connected to your intuition. But this one's more about really beginning to take notice of your body, how your body communicates to you. It's one of those things. It's about learning to listen to the whispers of your body, and not so it's and rather than listening to it scream. So I know from my experience, it was not really ever brought into my awareness. Not until I got really sick a few years ago, that your body being connected and being in tuned and listening to your body can actually really amplify your intuition, can really amplify your mediumship abilities, really amplify your spiritual practices and your connection with spirit. So really, it's taking notice of all of you and really becoming aware of the sensations in your body and how is your body communicating and all that sort of stuff. So And the two main areas I really want to talk about that really influence all aspects of our lives, and there's two modes, and I call them survival mode and thriving mode. So survival mode is your flight, fright, freeze. It is when your sympathetic nervous system is triggered. It is a beautiful function to have in our body. It's about keeping us alive. Its purpose and goal is to keep us alive. And the other one is thriving mode, and that's where we rest and digest and we thrive, we learn, we enjoy. There's more happiness, more pleasure, more things flow a lot more ease. Do you know what I mean? It's about thriving, right? And it's in the thriving mode is where our intuition can be at its strongest and at its peak. So we'll first talk about survival mode. So survival mode is our flight, fright, and freeze and fawn. They keep adding to it, but it's something that we've all heard the saying that back in cave days it was there because if a bear or a tiger was chasing us, it really releases some stress hormones into the body, which which sort of shut down other areas of the body, like the digestive system, because, your body's not interested in eating. It's about survival. It's about keeping you safe, not sustaining you, like what food does. So it's about keeping you safe and getting you out of there, getting you away, or staying, whether it's to fight or, whatever is needed to survive. Like our bodies, one of our body and our brain's biggest goal is to keep us alive, is survival, it's about making it through another day. And so it's just about survival. It's about, I think it's more our reptilian brain is triggered and our limbic brain. There is a whole lot of science that really backs it up, and there's even more science going into neuroscience and neuroplasticity and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot more happening as we speak, and more research being done on just how the effects of the flight, fright, freeze and fawn is. Now the thing is, like, those hormones, those stress hormones that are released into our body, actually, when they're done in therapeutic doses, so doses where you're needed, where it's when you need it in those times to survive, right? They actually have a therapeutic effect in the body, like they're anti-inflammatory. So any inflammation in the body, they help to heal any inflammation in the body, right? But like everything, it's all got to be in moderation. And the thing is, with today, we don't necessarily have bears and tigers chasing us, but there is a lot of stress going on and a lot of pressures, and everyone has their own stress and all that kind of thing. It's not about comparing. It's just, if you're feeling it, you're feeling it, right? And the thing is, it's more we are in that survival stress mode more regularly, on a regular daily basis. So that therapeutic dose, that moderation, it's overused. And when you have those constant or continual surges of those stress hormones, that's where it starts to get detrimental on the body. It actually causes inflammation in the body. And 99.99% of disease all starts off with inflammation in the body. So when we are overstressed, it puts a lot of stress on the body, like the physical body, and it can cause a lot of dis-ease in the body. When it's overused, it's detrimental to our health in all areas, and it really does put a strain on the connection with the intuition, because your body's not really concerned about connecting with spirit or connecting with your inner wisdom or inner knowledge. It's about survival. It's about being alive and staying alive and all that kind of stuff. So, and the interesting thing is, between the stress of, say, financial stress to the bear chasing you, the body doesn't know the difference of which one's which. It just knows that you're under stress. Therefore, it's going to be pumping out these stress hormones that are going to be affecting you. And then after a while, when you overuse something, it wears you down. It gets you tired, and leads to disease, or it can compromise your immune system. So you might find that you're getting a lot more colds or flus or infections and all that kind of thing as well. So, you know, Western doctors don't really do this, but as a naturopath and that, we talk about adrenal fatigue. So really, you know, overusing those adrenals. So your adrenals are tiny little glands that sit above your kidneys on your back, and they produce, they do a lot of things actually. For little things, they do big things in the body. So things like your stress hormone, they do your sex hormones, they do a whole heap of things, right? So when, as a naturopath and herbalist, we talk about, you know, taking care of your adrenals, because, you know, they do get overworked, and after a while things just, the body just goes, I'm over it, I'm tired too, I can't keep doing this, I can't keep being overused and overstimulated, overtriggered and all that kind of stuff, and it starts to shut down and it just gets tired. It's not immortal, you know, it really does get tired. And that's where things like, you know, looking at, you know, on day 4 we'll be looking at filling up your cauldron and things that really help to you know, it's really about having practices, regular practices, and to de-stress, to calm, and to put yourself and to stimulate that rest and that digest, right? So when we're in our survival mode, our body is only focused about being alive. Now, you know, we may be talking about finances, or, you know, the cost of living, or jobs, or relationships, or family drama. You know, it's not the same as a bear coming to kill you, but your body doesn't know the difference. It thinks that it is a bear coming and that, you know, you're going to die, and, you know, and its main goal is to keep you alive, and to so it keeps triggering or stimulating these hormones that keep doing it. And the thing is, when these hormones are stimulated, your digestive system slows down, because your body prioritizes what is important, and eating and having food and drink is not really a priority at all. So what it does to help pull out energy, it takes it from other systems. So, and the main one is the digestive system. So if you're someone who is more in survival mode, and in survival mode a lot, then you're going to find you're going to have some digestive issues. You're going to find, you know, things like bloating, you know, food, it's not giving you energy, having sugar cravings, carb cravings. You know, carbs is a really big one, because it is, it's a sugar. It's to give you more energy, to help, you know, with the production of those stress hormones. So, you know, and it's not very calming, and it's harder to think, and you get a bit brain fogged and all that sort of stuff as well. So the connection to the intuition when you're in survival mode is not really a priority. It's not really, it's just about getting the F out of there and surviving another day to live. It's really, you know, it really does hinder your intuition, right? So I will come back to a bit more about survival mode, but the other thing is, so we'll move more into thriving mode. So hang on, with also too in survival mode with the digestive system. So you can be eating the so-called right foods, healthy foods and all that sort of stuff, but the thing is, you can be eating all these foods, but if you're more in the stress mode and your body's not prioritizing that rest, that digest, where digestion happens and your body absorbs nutrients, then you're eating foods and just pooping it back out, because your body isn't actually absorbing it all. It's not focused on putting energy into properly breaking down, digesting, getting that, you know, the acid in your stomach and all the enzymes and the probiotics and prebiotics and all that sort of stuff that helps to break down food into its chemical components to be absorbed into the body. The body is not got the time or the energy to do that, because it's too busy trying to keep you alive. It's too busy in survival mode. Okay, so thriving mode is also called rest and digest. It allows for our body to rest. Rest is so vital and so important to our survival. You know, it's when our body doesn't get to rest, then cells, because they reproduce all the time, don't reproduce as healthy cells, and that's where disease comes in as well. But when we're in rest and digest, in our thriving mode, that's where we can feel grounded, we can relax, we can feel connected. You know, we're a lot more calm to be around. You know, we're a lot more settled. We notice things more. We can smell the roses, you know, really appreciate the small things in life. Really connect with those around us in whatever capacity that is for you. With loved ones, have more meaningful relationships. Really, and then also too, we can be more connected to our intuition. We can lead and be guided by our intuition on a daily basis, right? Because our body's feeling safe. It's in that safe mode. It's feeling really connected, really allowing you to be that connected. There are some things, there's one thing I'm really learning a lot, which I want to share, and it is a book, and I'm sure a lot of people have seen this book, and it's interesting because I know, like, for the last 20 odd years and that had a very traumatic childhood, and I have been doing a lot of work on shadow work, really, like, I'm more aware now and more, you know, educated on shadow work. But back in my early 20s and that, after coming out of some trauma and that, especially sexual abuse trauma, I'm not sure if I read something or I just was aware of it. I really wanted to heal that trauma because I didn't really want that trauma to keep affecting me negatively, or affect relationships, or affect my children, or how I parented and all that sort of stuff. So I really wanted to do some shadow work on it. And so I've been doing a lot of shadow work and learning lots and learning about triggers, and, you know, if I'm feeling something because something's happened, you know, why has that come up? What is that telling me? And really get curious about it and all that kind of thing, rather than projecting it out. Definitely not something I've perfected, but it's definitely something that I feel that is very helpful. But I have been noticing, because I have been quite crook, I do have like endometriosis, fibromyalgia, I've got an underactive thyroid that's really in a flare up at the minute, so super tired, lots of headaches, migraines, and all that kind of stuff. But I have noticed, and this is the thing about when we look at our connecting with our body, I've begun to really notice that even in times when I'm relaxing and just, you know, kicking back, there's nothing to be stressed about, I really notice when I really tune in with my body that my body is really tense. And not just tense like, you know, when you touch your body, it feels tense. It just feels like inside, I just feel tight and tense. It's kind of like I'm stuck in that survival mode, that I'm stuck in that flight, fright, freeze, fawn response. And it's kind of really been baffling me for a while now. I can't work out, and even if I can try, and on day 4 we'll go through some techniques and things like that, and why filling up your cauldron really helps to keep you in that thriving mode and helps you to keep you connected to your intuition. But I couldn't work out the techniques, and I'm still working on it. It's a work in progress, and that's the thing. And this is why it's a practice. It's something we keep working on, and, you know, and as we do shadow work and keep peeling back the layers, there's more healing and more stuff to be done on deeper levels. And, you know, especially as women, we come from thousands of years of suppression, repression, and abuse from the patriarchal. Like it's, you know, if we look at especially the females in our ancestral line, you know, how many opportunities, you know, a lot of them couldn't get credit cards or bank loans. They held properties of their fathers or properties of their husbands. You know, I know here in Australia up until the 1990s, which isn't that long ago, that it was okay. It was the law supported husbands raping their wives. Do you know what I mean? Like, we didn't have our say and all that sort of stuff. You know, as much as we're still behind now, it's like we've still come a long way. So, you know, there's a lot of history, a lot of ancestral trauma, and a lot of stuff that has been passed down. And, you know, there's been a lot of that survival mode for women. It's been constantly triggered. It's been constantly on, because we've not been able to have our say. We've not been able to speak up. We've not been able to follow our intuitive abilities or our mediumship abilities, or come from a place of being loved and respected and honored for where we are and who we are as we are, you know, especially as being emotional beings. You know, men are emotional too. But as women, you know, we're very cyclic and very emotional. So we're not taught. It was derogatory, you know. It was, you know, we were told our periods were dirty and disgusting. You know, there's still some churches to this day, if you've got a period, you can't enter the church, you know. So there's this long history of, so some of the stuff that triggers us and puts us into that survival mode isn't just from us. It can be from past lives, if you believe in that. It can be from your parents, and you know, it's like we have a lot more awareness now. The world is a lot smaller, especially with internet and being able to connect more and find out more information. We have so much more information at our fingertips than we ever have. You know, so there can be a lot of stuff that, you know, and is it about blaming your parents? No, because if we look back and go, but where did they learn those behaviours? You know, from the grandparents, where did they learn those behaviours? You know what I mean? If we keep going back, there's thousands of years of repeated abuse, or, you know, and then as times change, things different. It's kind of like same shit, different smell kind of thing. So, you know, so there is a lot of things that really can trigger us in survival mode. And I really feel like, you know, we are, with how much our technology is growing, we're seeing a lot, we're still seeing, you know, dis-ease and anxiety, depression, obesity, autoimmune diseases and all that sort of stuff. It's all on the rise. How is that on the rise? You know what I mean? You know, you look at mental health, and even then there's still a long way to go with mental health awareness and all that kind of stuff. You know, that there's a lot of stuff. I forgot what's going there. Perimenopause, right? But there's a lot of stuff there, and we're still in new stages. But how is it with the awareness? With more awareness, and the more we're learning about it, the worse it's getting. Like, you know what I mean? So I have come across a book that I want to share that I feel like I'm just reading. It's called The Body Keeps the Score. I don't know if I'm sure most of you heard it. It is pretty popular, by Dr. Bessel van der Kolk. So put it up there. Here in Australia, it's from Big W. It was only like $16. It is actually a decent sized book. It is a bit of I'm finding it a bit of a heavy book. Probably because I am tired with the thyroid and having headaches and migraines at the minute. But it is fascinating. It's really, if you've had, and we've all got our own past hurt, pains and traumas, to what extent, and it's not about denying yours and going, oh, well, mine isn't as bad as blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? If it's affected you, it's affected you. You know, that's what it's about. It's not about competing with each other on, well, mine's worse, you should be fine, you didn't have to go through this, or anything like that. So, but this is really groundbreaking stuff, and I feel like Dr. Bessel and some of his colleagues and that are really trying to make a difference and really bring awareness and make changes in the mental health industry to, rather than just labeling children and labeling adults and that, but really looking at the cause and really looking at the effects of childhood trauma and neglect. So childhood trauma and abuse and neglect and all that kind of stuff. Really trying to show just how, you know, especially in those first 7 years of our life, when the programming and, you know, there's certain aspects of our brain that were not developed, even as teenagers. You know, it's interesting how people expect teenagers to know and think like adults when they actually literally don't even have the brain capacity to do it. They're not even developed. But as children, as it's developing, how having child abuse and neglect can really, really detrimentally affect how your brain's wired, how your brain's developed, how you respond or how you react, how, you know, denial, desensitization, all this kind of stuff, how it can really affect your body and how it can affect your development and all that like that. So things like, you know, if you've had a childhood where, you know, you've had to be on guard, or your parents were fighting, or there was abuse, and there is a lot of incest in here, but it's interesting at how he has put a lot of evidence in this book on how, you know, it's not until recently incest was looked at. Oh, it wasn't that bad. It didn't happen that often. Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of that masculine downplay and all that kind of stuff. So it can be triggering. I think if you're not aware, but there is a lot of talk of war veterans, and especially back in 1980 when it was, it changed to the term PTSD, and now we know about CPTSD, complex PTSD, and so it really goes into, I think this is a really great book, especially if you've had childhood trauma, but even if you haven't, becoming aware of how other people, it really explains why people are the way they are, why people react, why people respond, why people like certain things, why people don't like certain things, how you can try to do things, but because of these conditionings and because the body can be stuck in these modes, it can give you a lot of awareness, and I'm really looking forward to up to the next chapter about ways to help recalibrate the body and and it's one of those things, it's not going to have a protocol where you just have to do A, B, C, how you can find some people out there and their things, if you just do what I did, then it will work for you, because, everybody's the same, we're all robots. That's not the case. It is really about listening to you, listening to your body, and really, okay, body, what is it that you need? Where are you at? What can I do to help support you? What do you need to be guided? And, really, again, that's really connecting more in with your intuition and really trusting your intuition and where you are at, really learning to take notice of different sensations in your body. How does your body feel when someone talks to you or certain events come up for you? We don't really listen to our bodies till our bodies get sick. Do you notice, and you see a lot of people that, I don't know, has this happened to you, that if you work and you're on the go, but then when you come on holidays and have annual leave, that you become sick. It's because you've been on the go and your body's stopped and it all catches up with you. Do you know what I mean? Because you've been using that adrenaline and those stress hormones to go, 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 go. And then when you stop, rather than having a nice relaxing holiday, you end up sick. Get a cold or a flu or, some kind of, viral or bacterial infection. It all catches up with you, because that's a really great indicator that being in that survival mode constantly and too much, it's really to help, connect more with your body is about stopping and listening, and there's some things we can control in our lives, and there's some things we can't control in our lives, and it's really looking at what I like to call doing a stress stock take. How at the end of financial year most businesses all do stock take. It's really about doing a stock take of stress in your life. What does stress you out? And it's not just because something stresses you out and it doesn't stress somebody out, does not mean it's not important. If it's stressing you out, it is important. You know what I mean? We all have different coping abilities and levels and priorities and values. So, what stresses one person out is not necessarily going to stress another person out. We're all different and unique like that. But if it's stressing you out, then it's really important to go into that and to go, why is this stressing me out? What's coming up for me? Is there something I can do a bit differently to ease that stress? Where in your life can you ease the stress? Whether it's, food stress, mental stress, emotional stress, work stress, relationship stress, what are the things that you can do in your life to help reduce that survival mode? We don't need to be stuck in the survival mode all the time. It is not healthy to be stuck in that survival mode all the time. It's really detrimental. So when you stop and take notice of your body, let's do it. Let's do a little exercise. So let's just do, taking some deep breaths, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. Just taking some extra deeper breaths, just letting your belly expand out as you breathe in, and then pushing the breath out. You might even want to do a sigh or make some noise. It is really a great habit to, if you need numbers, breathing in for say 4 and hold, and then breathe out for 6. And just allowing your exhale breath to be longer than your inhale breath. This helps to stimulate that thriving mode, helps stimulate that vagus nerve, the wandering nerve, the biggest nerve in the body. It actually doesn't wander, but it just goes to a lot of different places in your body. So just really just breathing out and breathing in. And really focusing on your breath is an amazing, it sounds so simple, and that's what's so beautiful about it. It is simple but deeply effective. It helps to bring you into the present moment. So if you're finding you're anxious or worried or anything like that, or a bit scattered, just bring you back focus to your breath. You have to breathe. Bringing your attention and your awareness to your breath helps to bring you into the present moment. And when we are in that survival mode, part of that is our breath gets shorter, which increases the stress response. So by breathing deeply, it helps to relax. It helps to stimulate that survival mode. A beautiful practice is, even just setting your phone for 30 seconds or a minute, if you've got longer, beautiful, and just focus on your breath and doing some deep breathing. Whenever you're feeling unfocused, a bit scattered, if you need to make a decision, just taking a couple of moments to focus on some deep breaths can really help to bring you in that present moment, give you some clarity. And just continuing to focus on your breath. And also too, when you deep breathe, you are getting more oxygen to all areas of your body. Therefore, with more oxygen to your organs, your peripherals, they are going to function better. The breath is powerful. It keeps us alive. And, when we're deep breathing, we're sending messages to our body, to our brain, that, hey, everything is okay. No bear's chasing me. I'm not going to die. Everything is okay. Now, after doing a couple of deep breaths, just really taking notice of your body. Taking notice of your arms, your hands. How do they feel? And however they feel is right for you. Whether they feel heavy, light, tight, tense, ticklish, is right for you. It's about bringing awareness to your body. Taking notice of how your feet and your legs feel. How do they feel? Are they comfortable? Do they feel relaxed? Do they feel tight or tense or sore? Then taking notice of your pelvis, your tummy. How does that feel? And whatever comes up, it's coming up with, just remember unconditional love, no judgment. Adding judgment to it is only going to add to that survival mode. There's nothing wrong with you. Everything is what it needs to be. Then just taking notice of your chest and the rest of your body, your back. How does your back feel? Is there any tension, any twinges? How does your shoulders feel? Do they feel light, or do they feel like they've got the world on there? How does your neck feel? Feel tight or tense or flexible and flowing? And then how does your head feel? And overall, how does your body feel? What messages does your body have for you? When asking your body, hey body, what do you need in order to feel good? And just taking some deep breaths and allowing your body to respond in whatever way it needs to be. It may not come through. That's the thing with intuition. It may not come through straight away. It may come through later on today or in a couple of days. You'll just get that intuitive pull and going, hey, I need a rest, or I need some sleep, or I need a magnesium bath, or I need to go out into nature, or I need to walk, or I need to just listen to some music, or I need to do a bit of a workout, or whatever it is. Your body, it's about working with your body. It would be really, it's about taking notice of your body. You're not separate from your body. Remember, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And so, we've come in knowing that we're going to be restricted by time. We're going to be restricted by the physicalness and the density of our body. That's why we're here. That's the purpose of it, is to experience it. And we're full spectrum beings. We have amazing, happy love, joy, the capacity for unconditional love, for happiness, bliss, pleasure. We have those capacities, but we also have the other end of the spectrum of those heavy emotions, that grief, that sadness, that anxiety, that depression, anger, rage, frustration. These are all normal human experiences, and they're full spectrum, and we feel them through our body, right? We really feel them, right? And we're not taught this, right? We're definitely not taught. We're taught more to be logical. Good girls don't cry. No, boys don't cry. Good girls don't get angry. So we're taught how to deny them, to stuff things down, and and we wonder why mental health and disease is on the rise, right? So we are these full spectrum beings. It's about really being connected to our bodies, and I really do believe, the more that I do this work, to really, if we really want to embrace and embody more of the spiritual, the more of the spirituality, our connection with our intuition, our more connection with spirituality and with spirit and guides and all that sort of stuff, it's about being holistic. It's about really embodying your body and really listening to your body. And some of us and some people are born or acquire disabilities and all that sort of stuff. We have this illusion that we're all meant to be perfectly healthy and all that sort of stuff. I know through my disabilities and chronic illnesses, I've learned so much and been taught so much and constantly been taught so much. And it's a constant thing. It's continually working through that. But we all have different reasons for incarnating. Some of us, it might be just to work through your stuff, or just to experience love, or to work through some, ancestral trauma. It's an endless list of stuff. And yeah, but really connecting with your body can really amplify and really help heal what's going on and what's happening. So Nikki, hello Nikki, thank you for commenting. Great work, thank you. No, thank you. I love what I do. Would be interested in learning more about the type of shadow work you do or find useful. Okay, so I do, we do shadow work. We have the Autumn Crone Temple, which I was going to talk about at the end of the week. So that is it's a membership and it's ongoing. We do a lot of work. So we do circle works in there. At the start of the month, we do Wisdom Focus Circle, which is going through, I pick a topic, which I do on our website at www.autumncrone.com. There is on the temple page, there is no a picture of, you know, the things that we're working through. So, you know, we've been working things through self-love and through at the minute we follow the witch's wheel of the year. So we're coming to endings, so looking at endings, looking at grief, and, you know, looking at that birth, death and rebirth cycle, because, you know, we all want new things and new beginnings, but we need to let things go. We need to surrender and really move through endings and all that sort of stuff. There is lots of different aspects to shadow work. I am just finishing up. I've got a couple more subjects to go in counselling to help support women through shadow work. Shadow work, I do find it can be done on your own. I do also recommend having a support person at least to work through, because shadow work is not easy. It is not fun, especially when you're going back into past hurt, pains and traumas, and it's about visiting those things. It's not about reliving them, you know, so it's about learning, what did you learn from, what did you gain from, and we can't change our past. The only thing that we can change from our past is our perception of it. And, you know, and I do find this book is really, really good. I hope you can see that. Looks so The Body Keeps the Score, Dr. Bessel van der Kolk. I'll take a photo of it when I finish, and I'll put it in the comment section. It's mind, brain and body in the transformation of trauma. So, you know, and I've done a lot of shadow work, and I'm finding this is really interesting, and I'm finding that really reflecting on my childhood and the environment that I was in was very stressful. So, you know, from a very young age, being, you know, it feels like my body is really stuck in that survival mode. And there's books around on shadow work. There's different, I think there's books on by Debbie Ford, she's passed now. That was someone I got into, read her books about 10 years ago. But tomorrow we are going to do a lot more on some shadow work too. So day 3 will be really on shadow work, and we're actually going to go through and do another drumming meditation to talk about that. So when we do circle work in the temple, we do a lot of drumming. We do a few drumming journeys. We also do, Dave has mediumship circles, so it's about also it's not just doing all shadow work, because I find if you do shadow work all the time, it can get really depressing, right? Because you're sort of focusing on all the bad things and all that kind of stuff. But it's not. It's about really focusing on what you learnt, what you gain, how you grew as a person. You know, we're very critical of ourselves, and we are much stronger than we give ourselves credit for, and we've survived those days too. So it is about really looking at the gems and what have you gained. And, you know, it's also to, when we hold on to hurt, pains and traumas, they play out subconsciously, but they also live in our energy space. So if someone's hurt you or done something to you, it's also, you know, they can live in your energy. If you're thinking about them and getting angry all the time about them, then they live in your energy space. So it's a lot. There is forgiveness work, but it's more about forgiving you. It's not about condoning bad behavior. You know, you don't have to do forgiveness with other people. It's about really you, and allowing you to feel good. You deserve to feel good. You deserve to be happy, despite what has happened, right? It doesn't have to keep playing out for you and ruling your life. This is really one thing I love about shadow work and doing this work and having women's circle. We started women's circle this week in the temple. Tonight we've got readings on. So you know, it's about really taking your power back, you know, because when things happen to us, and especially in our childhood, because we're not in control of our lives. We just can't, you know, we're born and parents are meant to protect us, but it doesn't always, a lot of the time it doesn't work out that way. So it's very much about taking back your power, being more sovereign, been more realizing that these things don't have to define you in a way that is debilitating to you. So I hope that makes sense. If you've got any more questions, please do ask. So thank you for asking. And there's a lot of stuff on the internet about shadow work. I do recommend having support and all that sort of stuff, but we will talk more about shadow work tomorrow, and even go in and look at some shadow work that is blocking the intuition as well. So yes. So with that breathing exercise we did before, breath is one of the most powerful ways and quick ways, and something we all have access to is breathing. If we don't, we're not here. So, it's something that we all have access to and can do it. It's such a powerful, if you feel like, I know when I'm feeling anxious, take notice of your body when you start to get anxious. I notice for me that, I get that really tight tenseness in my stomach, and I get that real shallow breathing, and, it might then lead to a headache. And, and I've found that by the earlier I become aware of things, the more I have the power to change them. So, for example, like getting angry, right? I learned that when I get angry and have anger outbursts, it was like, and I didn't like those feelings, but it was like, what leads me to those? So what I did learn by observing myself, and it was kind of like each time just peeling back, okay, and then after events happen, being a Virgo, I'm pretty good at analyzing things, looking at things, but I'm analyzing things from a place of love, from a place of kindness, from a place of compassion and empathy and curiosity of going, okay, what was the trigger here? What came up? So, and I learned that before I got angry, I'd be frustrated, right? So it was like, okay, so what leads up to frustration? Where do I feel that in my body? So the sooner that I become aware of the sensations in my body, like I noticed before I get frustrated, I start to get really probably overstimulated and very tight and very tense. So it's like the earlier that I can pick up those signs, do you know what I mean? It's not like I just go from 0 to angry in just like that. There is a lead up, pardon me, there is a build up. So really becoming aware of your body helps you to pick the really early warning signs. And so then when you become aware of these early warning signs in your body, you have the power to change it. If you want to go into that full-blown anger outburst, then do that. Do it with awareness, right? But if you want to take a different path and a different direction, then you can go, okay, I'm feeling a bit tight and tense here. What's coming up? How am I feeling? What can I do? What does the body need? Does it need to express it, or does it really, what am I needing? Is it needing some quiet time, or is it needing some time out in nature? What can I do to sort of recalibrate? What can I do to go back into that thriving mode? Now, the thing is, it's not about denying or bypassing. That is absolutely not what I'm talking about. So bypassing is going, oh, I feel angry, or I'm feeling frustrated, just ignore it because, that's not a very spiritual thing to do and all that sort of stuff. So I'm just going to pretend to ignore it. That is bypassing. That is really unhealthy and really not helpful at all. And it's just a recipe for a volcano to go off later on. So what I'm saying is, become aware of that, going, okay, I'm starting to feel a bit tense and tight. Normally when I get this way, it leads to frustration and anger. Okay, I don't want to exacerbate that. Okay, so why am I feeling frustrated at the moment? Why am I feeling tight and tense? Is it that I need to have a bit better, more sleep? I need to go to bed a bit earlier, or have a magnesium bath, or do I need to drink more water? So you're being curious about it and going into it and really listening to your body and going, what is it that it needs at the moment? Like our thoughts affect our emotions, and our emotions affect our body. It's a dance, it's a weave, it's not compartmentalized. It's really listening to, and what your body says it needs to what somebody else is going to need is very different, and that is perfectly okay. It's about diversity. It's not right or wrong. It's just different. It just is, right? And so that's that comparison can be quite detrimental when we use it in the context of beating ourselves up and feeding the inner critic and all that kind of stuff, you know. So brain's gone off on another tangent for a second there. So it's really listening to your body and what are those early triggers. Your body will show that tightness, that tenseness, that heaviness. They will show up, like it'll start off really small, and if we do ignore it and bypass it, it just grows and grows and grows and grows until it explodes. You know what I mean? And a good example of explosion is things with road rage. Like really, we can see people just, you know, or if you look at someone and something small happens, but yet they fly off the handle. That is a really, really, it's not good, but it's a really good indication that there's been bypassing, there's been been ignoring and suppressing those hurt past pains and traumas and those feelings haven't been digested, they haven't been worked through. You know, those heavy feelings are very uncomfortable. They generally don't feel nice. And so we want to avoid them, but the thing is we need to work through them. And it's interesting in the book The Body Keeps the Score that how not that they're fully aware, but how the programming of the body can be, because at a young age, that programming of abuse and all that sort of stuff, and then you find that a lot of people, not all, but a lot of people that have some sort of abuse as a child or neglect return as adults to that. It's because of the conditioning of the brain, and they're not fully understanding why that is, but it's there. So it's really, you know, if you're noticing patterns and cycles in your life and all that sort of stuff, there's deeper meaning to it, and deeper meaning to why we are the way we are. And yes, if you have any questions, please let me know, even if you're on the replay or anything like that. Would love to hear from you. You know, how do you feel about your body? How do you feel with a connection with your body? You know, what is your body mainly in? Is it in that survival mode? You know, and how's that going for you? You know, or, you know, how are you when you're in your thriving mode? Can you tell the difference when you're in one or the other? How do you really become aware? How does your body feel when it's in the thriving mode? How does it feel when it is in the survival mode? You know, really becoming connected to your body, and how does your body feel? And also too, if you're feeling something heavy in your body, or something doesn't feel right or anything like that, because remember, you know you better than anybody else. No doctor, no medical profession. Yes, they can give you insights to some stuff possibly, but at the end of the day, only you know you better than anybody else, because you're the only one that's walked in your shoes for as long as you've been around. Nobody has, and nobody's had the exact experiences and things that you have had. So really, take notice of your body. It talks to you all the time and is communicating to you. And so if you're noticing that heaviness or a certain feeling in your body and you're like, I'm not sure what that is, you know, take some time, do those deep breaths. You can go into that part of your body, let's just say your stomach, and you're feeling a bit heavy or you're feeling a bit knotted up and all that kind of stuff, you know, really going into that, go into your stomach and go, oh, I'm feeling knotted there. You know, you might even want to go, oh, you know, what does that look like? You know, it looks like a tight ball, or it looks like something like a piece of paper scrunched up. Oh, it's a black color or a brown color, or it's pink with purple polka dot color. You know, really go into it and go, what's going on there? And, you know, like be a 2-year-old, be a curious 2-year-old, but why? But why? What's going on for me there? What's coming through there? What do I feel this could be the cause of? And you may not know the answer, and that's okay, but get curious, ask a question. You know, your intuition doesn't always give you answers straight away. It doesn't always give you answers either, but sometimes we need to be, I hate to say it, patient and wait for things to come through. So I find the more that I've embraced being patient, It's a work in progress. But the more as I get older and the more I embrace, especially going through perimenopause and learning, embracing my inner sloth and slowing down, the more I've noticed my intuition has gotten stronger, because I'm like, all right, yes, I always wanted the answer now, but then I learned, but I wasn't getting anywhere, and none of the messages were coming through, and I wasn't getting that deep insight. However, as I learnt to go, okay, I've put the question out, why is this happening, or what can I do about this? And I'm like, all right, I've put it out there, and you know what? My intuition will answer me when the time's right. Not necessarily when I think it's right, but I want to know now, but in divine timing, allowing that information to come when it comes through. And I'll probably find within a day or two or a couple of days, just randomly, because my intuition is my connection, and my messages mainly come through my claircognizant, that it's a thought will just pop in randomly, and I just know, because it's clear knowing, that that's the answer to the question I had the other day. This is what's going on. I'm like, that is so cool. So the more I sort of embraced that patience and all that sort of stuff, and allowed it to come through when it was ready to come through, then I really got more messages. So then I started to notice the pattern, started to embrace it more, and all that sort of stuff. So really, so going in, why is my tummy in knots? What is there? What can I do? Is there something I can do at this point of the time? Remember the power of the breath, really relaxing. You might even, if you're visual, you might see or feel, or you might tell it words, whatever, your clear is the strongest, or what you're comfortable with, telling that it's okay, what's wrong, it's okay, it's safe to relax. Just working on it, at the same time going, what is it there, why is this here, what's going on, is there something I can do, or something needs to shift, or something needs to change. It's being open to the possibilities, and really listening to your body. Your body is really powerful, and even though it's physical and dense, by really listening to your body, it can really amplify your intuition, your connection with spirit, your mediumship abilities. It's really being holistic. It's not just going, I'm just going to focus on my, and this comes from my own experience, for 20 years, just focusing on spirituality, really want to be a spiritual person, and just really connected and really into spirituality and very intuitive and all that sort of stuff. And I got so far, and then I got really sick because I didn't really listen to my body. And yes, I have, things that I think with the endometriosis, I got diagnosed at 41, so a couple of years ago. And now that's not just something that just popped up randomly and all that sort of stuff. So that's not something just randomly popped up. That's something there. And, and I've gone into that a lot spiritually. I've had kinesiology, a lot of Reiki sessions with Dave, done a lot of shadow work, done a lot of, reading, a lot of naturopathy herb work. I've done a lot of Western medicine stuff on it. And it feels like there was just... And, a lot of stuff, I've even done a lot of spells and rituals, cord cutting, a lot of healing. There's a lot of messages that came through ancestrally, past traumas. And, for me, I truly believe and feel, just for me, this is my experience. This isn't for everyone. I don't know other people's stories, in the way of, I've never had another endo warrior and gone into their energy field and gone, why do you have this? So this is just from my experience, is that it was more the ancestral and standing in women's power and healing the women's line. And, there is an extreme amount of abuse down both my female lines and ancestrally and all that sort of stuff. And I feel like that's why I'm so passionate about working with women, is to really help heal and move through and really reclaim our divine sovereign power, because of the patriarchal. Now, when I talk about patriarchal, it's not a man bashing thing. When I talk about feminine energy and masculine energy, I'm not talking about your genitals. It's, some men embrace more of the feminine energy. Some women embrace more of the masculine energy. It's not right or wrong. It's just whatever's right for you and all that kind of stuff. And there's a lot of men that are against the patriarchal world. I call the patriarchal world more the shadow masculine. It's that power, greed, and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, there's a lot of women that support that and are all for that, you know what I mean? So it's not a male, female, or any other gender type. It's just the energy of it. So, Nikki, great, thank you. And my husband is also interested in a male spiritual group if your husband holds them. Unfortunately, no, he doesn't. We just work with females. So even though the temple is women only, Dave is a part of that. So Dave is very amazing at, he holds a masculine energy very well. He has a lot of masculine energy in his star sign with an Aries rising and a lot of Leo energy, so he holds the masculine energy very well, but he also embraces the divine feminine very, very well. And really, it's really hard to explain this, but I'll do my best. So even though he's the only male that is in the temple, he adds a lot of, he has so much that really, I think he gives a different perspective of things and a different point of view of things, and it really seems to help embrace the divine feminine work that we do. He's an amazing supporter and all that sort of stuff. So, you know, he doesn't do, unfortunately. And, you know, it's a great point there. As much as, you know, it's about work with women and empowering women, there is still a lot of, you know, the patriarchal world has done a lot of damage to the masculine, the males as well. But no, unfortunately, he doesn't do it, and we only do the females. So yes. So, all right, that's been an hour. I can't believe I didn't think that was going to go that long, but when I get on these topics, I can keep going on and on. I love doing this, and I hope this has made sense. If there's any questions or if there's anything you would like me to clarify on, please ask. On Friday at 10. Actually, I think Dave is actually going to be on the call on Friday. I think we were talking about it. So that's going to be not just a call like this. In the events, there's actually a Google Meet link. Now, Google Meet is like Zoom, but it's Google. It is free for you to join. You don't have to pay, but I'm not sure if you have to do an app or something like that or connect with it like you normally do with Zoom. But it is free for you, and we get to talk. And I mean, if you can't be on it, totally understand. But you can add your questions into the group and all that sort of stuff, and so we can answer them and have a conversation. Because in the temple, yeah, everything's done by Google Meet. Actually, I was just thinking, because we've changed things. We do the Wisdom Focus Circle, which is on a Google Meet. It's really about circling, and really, you know, I don't know everything. You know, the more I learn, the more I don't know. But it's really, there's something really powerful when women circle together and really bring their own experience and their own wisdom to a group, and we inspire each other and we learn, and it's this beautiful vortex of energy. And it's really about coming together and going, hey, I learned this, and this is what this means to me. And, you know, like, I'll hold the sacred space, I'll open up the space and share what I know. And then, you know, and it's and we're all different, you know what I mean? So it's really, it helps to learn and grow and expand. And, you know, it's not about you have to change your views or beliefs. It's about when you hear other women talk, it's kind of like, oh, wow, I never thought of it from that point of view. Wow, that's really amazing. So there's a lot of seeds planted as well. And then Dave does a mediumship circle once a month, and that's also on Google Meet, and that's about looking at your abilities. And the amazing thing with that is, even if you're somebody who's been in the spiritual world or works or whatever, so whether, you know, you're more advanced with it or you're a beginner, there's still something there to learn and, you know, see things from different perspectives and gain deeper insight and all that sort of stuff. So I really love how Dave holds those sacred spaces to be able to learn and go deeper. And you know, he's very more into the mediumship side. I didn't really think I was a medium, but the more that I listen to him and learn off him, it's like, oh, you know, like, even being a Reiki master and doing Reiki, well, it's connecting with spirit. Like, I've been doing mediumship work for a very long time, for decades, without even realizing it. Whereas I focus more on the intuition side of things, you know, but it's all connected at the same time. So, and this week we're starting Women's Circle. So, you know, with the Wisdom Focus Circle, it is more doing the shadow work. What's coming up for you? How do you feel about this? And really, you know, shadow work is about alchemy, I feel. It's about turning shit to shine, your scars into stars, your wounds into wisdom. Do you know what I mean? But with Women's Circle, we're going to be focusing more on shadow work is more the shadow darker stuff. So Women's Circle, I'm wanting to focus more on the lighter stuff, the more celebration stuff, the good stuff and that. So you've got that bit of that yin yang kind of energy as well. And like tonight, what we do is we've got the Witch and her Viking readings. So, you know, Dave and I will give you a card reading. So you get, instead of just getting one reading off one of us, you get a card off both of us, a card or two of each of us, to give you insight in what's going on. They're pretty good. And then at the end of the month, we have a support and reflection call. So we talk about the month and have questions and just talk and connect and that. So it's really, really beautiful. So at the minute, the price is going up, which I've got to go fix. It is going up to $55 a month, but at the moment it's $33 a month, Australian dollars. So, but I'll put a link in the comments below with the book as well, so you can see all the details. But if you have any questions, do ask. And there's support posts in there, and you can ask questions and all that kind of thing as well. So, and it's amazing. It's, you know, you get to connect with other like-minded women, and yeah, it's really, really amazing. So anyway, but I'll keep sharing more about the temple. It's something, you know, a space that we really, really love. We did have a business before I got really sick, doing very similar work. It's just evolved and grown over time, but due to my health, I had to stop. And it's something we really, really miss, that connection and just that sacred space and just doing the work. And I think it's really the connection with others and like-minded people and all that kind of stuff is really powerful. And it's something that, even though the world's gotten smaller these days, it feels like it's something that is really lacking more and more of, you know. So yes, if you'd like to know more, let me know. So that was today's body and spirit connection. Let me know how that went for you, how you feel about your body. And yeah, if you've got any questions, please let me know. And I look forward to what's tomorrow is. We're doing more on shadow work. So that'll be talking more about shadow work, what shadow work is and our shadow side. And, you know, anyway, and I won't keep going because I'll start talking about it. We'll be here all day. All right, lots of love. Thank you very much. And we'll see you later. Bye.